Hi guys. I feel like I'm gonna have to like you could go back into live streams and like edit them. I think I'm just gonna have to go back and start it here. Hello. Welcome to another day in the life of Megan as she is sitting on her couch. This is my spot, man. So many good memories here with y'all hanging out. So many tears as well have been shed. The Lord and I have had such good heart to hearts here. We praise him. Quick shout out. I'm obsessed with this company. Selah, I believe is how it's pronounced. She has bookmarks and she has just even some artwork I haven't had the chance to hang behind me yet. I love her. Hello, everyone. Okay. I asked you guys on my YouTube to leave some questions in advance. And so I'm going to check that out. And then some people had already started posting questions on the last live that the link didn't work. We love that. So I'm going to quickly run to the post because I want to make sure that I get those questions answered first, because I try to like wherever I tell you guys to leave questions, that's the place that I try to like go to look at the questions and try to do that first. So I'm gonna look at this post. Aigoya. Dang it, there's one more thing I have to edit. Is that post? But yes, if you want to go over right now, if you go to the community tab on my YouTube page, I don't know if you're able to do that while you're watching. I don't know. If you are able to do that while you're watching, I have to post a new link here. And if you want to post it, I'll keep the post up for the rest of the time that we hanging out together. Sorry for the messy intro. This is just one of those days. Sometimes days are in your favor and sometimes they're not. And thus far, rocky start, but that's okay. Delete more actions. Delete it. Delete it forever. Okay. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hi, Amy, girl. We missed you. You're so sweet. I honestly missed hanging out with y'all too. I love going live. I literally love going live. Let's see. What did you quickly say? I'm painting my fingernails right now, so I'm just gonna watch while they dry. Give you something to do. Give you something to listen to. Let's hang out. Okay. I'm going to look at this post. And we're gonna answer your questions. Because y'all always have really good questions. Also, can we just talk about how your girl has been on her editing game? Thank you. Shout out to my friend who has become my like productivity buddy. But when I tell you accountability, it helps. It helps so much. My friend, he's a super hard worker. Like, he'd be working all the time. And so I don't have coworkers. If you couldn't tell, this is my job. I don't have coworkers. And so he has been such a help of like, he also works with his computer a lot. So I've just been going with him to work and it's kept me so productive that y'all have a video come in Sunday morning EST about SIM cards, finally updating. And I potentially, I gotta pray about it, but I think the second episode of Love Back to Life, it's edited, it's uploaded. I'm just in my head about it. So, but it's done as well. And we going live. Who am I? You know what I'm saying? Who am I? Oh my gosh, wait, okay. I'm going to be visiting Korea soon, Amy. Oh, it's your first time abroad. I'm excited for you. I'm so excited for you. And Jessica, my first time going to Korea too. That's going to be so much fun. You're doing the thing, guys. It's going to be awesome. No, no like trip. Like, you can never know really how it's gonna go. You never know if it's gonna go, like, super well or if it might be a little bit of, like, a challenge. But at the end of the day, when I tell you going abroad is such a beautiful, beautiful thing, and I'm so thankful that the world has given us this platform of social media so that we can talk about it, that we can prep each other for it. I think that when I went abroad the very first time, I just went on, like, a little ho-hum vacation to what was the first time I went abroad? We don't count Canada as an American. I don't count Canada because that's just a hop skip. I lived in Ohio, so it's literally like yeet, you know. But I mean, I guess that when people live in Germany and then they take the train to like, you know, Petty or something, like I guess that counts as a different country. But I don't count it. Okay. The first time I went abroad was I went to visit my friend in London. And having her there was such like I have no words to describe how incredibly important it was to have like just a friend that could like hold my hand. It's they all still spoke English, right? So it's not like can it be really be that hard. But to just have somebody that could like hold my hand through it and like just guide me. And so I am so thankful that social media exists that I can be like your older sister that can hold your hand and like guide you through this little journey. And so that's why we go live. And that's why I sit on my couch. And that's why we have the comfy pillow. And we're just going to have a little like fun hangout. So, also your cross is so pretty. This is my friend Adrian Hill's jewelry company. It's called Saved by Salt. Adrian Hill. She's also a Korean vlogger, YouTuber. You might have seen her videos. Love her to death. Wear her jewelry all the time. I'm obsessed. It lasts so long. It is incredible. First time visiting Korea in June for a wedding. Oh, that'll be so beautiful. I wonder how traditional it'll be. There's like non-traditional and then there's like way more like traditional and this not this weekend because this is Sunday, not yesterday, but the weekend before I went to my friend's wedding and it was traditional. And like even the people in the audience were like, we've never seen a wedding like this before. And I've been to like 20. And I was like, oh, and it was beautiful. So I'm excited for you to see a wedding. I just wonder how traditional or if it'll be like the more modern style. Okay. If you have a question, we are leaving questions. Can I share it? First priority questions go, how do I share this? You have to go to my community page. I don't know if this tab is, I don't know if this is going to work. I don't know if that link's going to work. But first priority questions are going to go to my, the tab here on my community page. I'm going to answer these first. And also the people who are really kind and they do the like, whatever the little super thing is, and then that pops on the screen. I will definitely prioritize your questions. But first priority questions are going to be the ones that were left on my YouTube community page. So I'm going to go there. I'll try to keep my eye on the chat, but post your question on this community tab if you really want it to get answered. Okay. I thought there was another question that I read, but maybe. Oh, there it is. Okay. I'm going to create for the first time with my best friend this summer for 2 weeks. Oh, why does it say ... and I can't extend it? Okay. I was like, oop. How much money should I have for that period? We're going around Seoul only. If you were to have general tips, that would be awesome. I think there was another question. Yeah, have a credit card brand that you would recommend to avoid fees. All money related things. I have in the description box, I have linked the cards that I personally use. I still use these cards, by the way. I still use Charles Schwab and Capital One Venture Card. I have them linked below. I actually don't even know if I think sometimes if you end up using that link, it helps me, but Not a lot. But either way, I link them below so you know the specific exact card that I use. The reason I recommend those, you have to make sure you have no international transaction fees on whatever card that you end up bringing. And if you have just any old random card and you start swiping it, you pay a fee every single time because you're not in like your home country. So every single time, swipe, it's like plus cents. And again, you're like just a few cents. Honey, that adds up every single time. Why be wasting money? We don't want to be we don't want to we already spent a lot on that plane ticket to get over here, right? So we don't need to waste any more money. So make sure that you have a card that has no international transaction fees. The sooner that you can apply and get that card, the better, right? Because it's going to be a whole process to apply and then actually like get the card. So don't forget about that. But as far as how much money, it is a good question. It's definitely a question that is very hard for me to just give a brief overall, like, hey, I would recommend you bring this much money. It's so dependent on your budget. It's so dependent on, yeah, you apply for everything. If you go to the link in the description, the cards will be linked there. I have like debit and then credit card. And when you click on it, that's when you start the application process because you have to apply. Again, proceed with caution because these are, credit cards. I have to give the disclaimer of like, I'm not responsible for any bad choices that you make. It's not a fancy way to put it. Be careful, proceed with caution. It is a credit card, pay your bills. But it's very hard for me to just say, hey, bring this much money blank, because it depends on what you want your travel experience to be. It depends on who you're going with. It depends on what your budget is. Some people come and they're like, no budget. I saved up for years to come. Like, I want to have the best experience. Some people are like, I just barely bought my plane ticket, but I don't care if I have to eat cheap food. I just want to be in Korea. And so there's such a huge scale, right? Amongst all of those people. So this is a question that I definitely try to say like, hey, scheduling an online consultation. If you're actually worried about this kind of thing, if you schedule an online consultation with me, I can give you like personalized answers. I help people pick where to stay. I help people. So I just have to throw out that plug of like, I can only say so much to the overall general public. Scheduling an online consultation, also linked in the description below. As far as the best answer that I could give, that's the most generalized, I would say each meal is going to cost you anywhere from, and let me know in the comments, would you rather me answer this? Obviously, I can't see this person unless this person so happens to be watching. If you want me to answer this in Korean won, or do we want, I know a lot of you guys are in America. Would you rather me answer in like USD, or would you rather me answer in Korean won? Can you guys type Korean won or USD? Because those are the two that I would probably be able to answer in the easiest. I'm going to give you a few seconds to answer USD or Korean won. I need to go grab a snack. My tummy's rumbling. Hold on. I need a protein bar or something, or I'm going to be sitting there and y'all going to be listen to my tummy just growl the whole time. Okay, I've got one vote for USD. I got one vote. 1, 2, 3 votes for Korean won. Okay, so I'm going to do Korean won for now, unless I'll give it a few more seconds. As I ASMR. These are from America because I can't read the scripture. Like, my Korean has come a long way, but I can't like read the ingredients of like, there's no way I could read the ingredients. They're so complicated, right? So I just bring these because I know these are good bars. I guess we're going with Korean won. Okay, so Korean won. And for those of you who are like, USD, It's almost the same. It's not, but you can technically think of it as 10,000 Korean won is like $7. Let's see. But when you get higher and higher, it starts to Korean won to USD. Yeah, it's like $7.37 is 10,000 Korean won. So it's not that far off, but yeah, people can convert. Okay, so we'll do it in Korean won. So a meal average cost, I would say, is around 10,000 to 15,000 won. This is like I'm still going to like decent restaurants. I'm not going to anything fancy high end. I'm just going to like, oh, this restaurant looks really nice. Atmosphere is nice. I'm probably spending 10 to 15,000 won. If you go into like nice places, right, 20 to 30,000 won per meal. Me, average Joe, average Joe. I'm not average. A human, I don't want to use the word average, an incredibly awesome human individual who lives a regular life, who likes good food, who is a foodie. I'm describing myself. um, I spend around 10 to 15,000 per meal. And I'm going to places that I really like. If I even want to go to like the Korean barbecue, that is like an all you can eat Korean barbecue. That's like 18,000 won, and that's like rare occasion. But all my other meals, like going to get pizza with my friends, going to get simdak or takgalbi, like all of these places that I like to eat, 10 to 15 per meal. Going to a cafe, I usually do that at least once a day. I'm usually spending 6 or 7,000 won on a coffee because your girl can't drink that black iced acid water. She got to have some milk in there. Okay. And I only drink decaf. And so that always makes the price go up as well. But I go to like decent coffee shops. And so that's around 7,000 for if you want to get a pastry, that's probably 5,000 won, right? So max, I'm spending like 12,000 to 15,000. 15,000 would be we are going on like a special cafe extravaganza. I'm usually spending around 7. I can only personally eat out and about like 2 meals a day. I'm usually going to bring a protein bar. I'm usually going to eat something small at my house in the morning to like hold me over. I also prefer to save a little bit of money, but I'm not going to personally go out and have more than 2 meals, especially with a cafe extravaganza kind of thing. So that is like we'll make it higher, right, to be safe. So I'm spending 15,000 on 2 meals, so we're at 30,000. I'm spending 15 on a cafe. Sure, that's like really high, like really above the average. All right, so now we're at 45,000 won. Transportation to get places usually pretty cheap. If you take the bus, it's only going to be like 2,000 on your card. It's 1,500, and then if you go a really far distance, it could get up to like 2,000, let's say. But let's say you so this is we're averaging up on all of this. So let's say 2,000 for transportation per ride, public transportation. We're probably going what? We'll make it high. 6 places. So that's like another 12,000. So to do that, I feel like I just keep rounding up. I just keep rounding up and up. So we're gonna say it's around 60 to get places and to eat food and to go to a cafe. Some of y'all want to go to maybe get souvenirs, right? We'll just put that in the others category. But as far as like that's probably what maybe you want to go to like a photo booth and like take a fun photo. We can say like 70,000 is going to cover so much what you would need to be doing, like so much. Me, the awesome normal individual who's not looking to round up, who's looking to save money, who tries to still like spend money very responsibly because she's on a very tight budget, right? I usually eat breakfast at home. I will take the public transportation like maybe 4 times. I'll eat 1 meal out that's pretty expensive, and then I'll try like, not pretty expensive. I'll eat 1 meal out and say, like, max 15 is my budget, but then the second meal out, I usually can find, like, just like a normal Korean, like a gukbap or like a just like a normal, like, Korean restaurant where things are quite cheap. There's, like, a lot of cheap Korean restaurants around, where I live. I can probably spend 7,000 on a coffee. I take the bus there. I take the bus one more time. Actually, I'm only gonna take the bus, like, 3 times. So, 2, 4, 6, 13,000. One nice meal, let's say 12,000. That's, like, 30,000. I'm gonna eat some stuff from my house at home, so that's, like, 35,000 for a normal, like, average day is how much I'm spending Korean won. So, I know I'm saying, like, a lot of I'm trying to help you understand, like, the different ways that it could unfold. I know I'm throwing a lot of numbers out there, but normal average every day, like I'm spending around 30,000 won probably a day to do an enjoyable experience, go out with friends, take public transportation. Um, I have to save money. Like I prefer to eat at home because it's cheaper, but I also sometimes I'm just out and about, and so it's just easier. So, uh, for me to say like you need to have this much money, right? It's really hard. I don't know how many souvenirs you want to buy. You can go to Olive Young and you could probably spend $500 there if you wanted to because people love skincare and it's super cheap here. So it's like you could end up doing that. If you already have bought your accommodation, then that is girl math. That money is already paid. So right, like that doesn't go into our normal I don't think about that when I'm budgeting. Um, but if you want to think about like per day, I would say if you want to be on the budget friendly side, you could say around 30 to 40,000 won a day. If you want to be on the like free side, you could say 70 to 100,000 won per day. That would be like we're eating at really nice restaurants, we're going to multiple cafes kind of side of things. And then you're going to want a separate budget for souvenirs because y'all won't stop buying things. I swear, people come here. Pack light. I'm so serious. Please pack light. Do not pack a lot of things. The amount of people that end up buying a second suitcase or a third suitcase to take all the stuff back. The amount of people that tell me, I wish I didn't bring so much stuff because I'm trying to bring so much stuff back. It's cheaper usually for people to buy like a third suitcase and send that than it would be to like purchase this stuff back in the States or purchase the stuff wherever you're from and like ship it. It's just cheaper to get a third suitcase. So if you need a suitcase, by the way, a lot of people ask, it's probably your safest bet. Don't go to like the really nice like shopping malls where they have like brand name suitcases. You don't need to do that. There's like you can just get cheap suitcases. Like this guy will just zip and we'll get it home and it'll be 40,000 won, maybe 60,000 won. And we just need to get it back. Those are going to be in like the Gangnam underground shopping or in Yongdong. They'll be like the ones that are out on the street. And you'll just kind of like see them lined up. I hope that was you said this question is like we're going for 2 weeks. I hope that you can kind of understand a little bit about what I'm saying and kind of like do the math accordingly and then take into your own mind like what is your budget. um it's really hard for me. It's like how old are you? I- what do you plan to do? Do you plan to go get massages? Do you plan to go get like your nails done, right? Like, I don't know. So that's why I really recommend the online consultations is because then I can get to know you and answer the question like more purpose or more for you, focused on you. I hope something I'm saying is making sense. Okay, I'm gonna go to the next question because I spent a long time on that one. I'm so sorry. I'm gonna mute you while I eat my Did it work? Did the muting work, you? Did you not hear me take the bite? Mm. I feel like I don't like ASMR. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but it makes me so uncomfortable. It makes me so uncomfortable. So I try to mute myself. Really good question. Are bed sizes the same in Korea as they are in America? I've heard bedding is expensive, so I might bring twin sheets just in case. That is such a good thing to ask. That's such a good question. Bed sizes are a little bit different. You can look up the exact dimensions, obviously. You know, I know a lot of things, guys, about Korea. I don't know the exact bed extension or dimension. Um they have, yeah, when I just typed it into Google, it is in like millimeters. But they have super single, double, queen, and king. I'm not sure if it's exactly the same or not. Let's see. I was like, did I unmute myself? um yeah, I think we call it like full. We have a twin, but yeah, they call it super single, double, and then queen, and then king. And so just look up to tell you what I did. I also bring my sheets from the States. I don't even like it, even comes down to like quality. I don't really like the quality of what sheets are like considered in Korea. I'm used to like cozy, comfy. Theirs is giving more paper like I really don't know how to describe it other than their bedding is so different, even down to like mattresses and stuff. I always go to IKEA actually if I'm gonna get like sheets in Korea. I went to IKEA and I liked their bedding. Like it's soft and it's nice. Korean style is not my forte, not my forte. But I definitely recommend bringing them in advance. You can always just buy something bigger, and that's what I did. I bought something bigger, and then I tucked it right underneath. When I like make my bed, I just tuck it around more, and that works really well. Costco, yeah, they have Costco here. I've actually never been to the Costco in Korea. I don't think I've been to the Costco in Korea. Have I been to the Costco? Oh, no, just IKEA. But they do have Costco here. So yeah, I do recommend bringing sheets in advance if you're picky like I am about my sheets. I want to be comfy, you know what I'm saying? I want to be comfy. Okay. If you guys are just now joining, hello. Hello, hello, hello. You can leave your questions on the community post tab that I have. That is like, I'm trying to look over here to see what y'all talking about, but I'm answering the questions on here first. First priority is on my community tab. There's like a question thing. Okay. I'm gonna heart it when I answer it. We answered you. We answered you. We answered you. Okay. When I watch K-dramas, I try to pay attention to the city layout. Are high-rise apartments in a separate area than businesses? How about low-rise apartments? K-drama characters always look like they have to walk on foot, winding way back into a residential area to reach home. Very interesting. I'm not a huge K-drama watcher, so I'm trying to think like in the ones that I have seen, the rich people be living in these like fancy penthouses, and those fancy penthouses don't fit in Seoul. So that's maybe, I don't know. But but basically the high rise and low rise, like it's all combined. The there are some even, rich people living still in Seoul, and they have their little homes. They're not like the super nice ones. But everything is very much amongst one another. I live in a high rise mostly for the sake that I need a high rise in order to be able to film and like hang out with you guys and there not be like a ton of outside noise. There's always an outside noise. But I live in a high rise and I am surrounded by a whole not like a whole bunch of businesses and a whole bunch of not high rises as well. So everything is very, I would say it's all very combined. There's not really, there are going to be like residential more so areas and it's like apartment complexes. And those will be the ones that have like gates for the cars to like get into. So there are definitely areas of Seoul that have more residential, but even in those areas that are like the residential, they'll be surrounded by businesses. Maybe not like skyscraper businesses, but like, mom and dad shops, restaurants and stuff like that. So I would say everything is very combined. Combined? I don't think that's the word. Everything is very combined, like together. Yes. Does it make sense? I hope it answered it. Are goshiwons worth it for a short visit? So if you guys don't know what a goshiwon is, it is like tiny, 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 tiny living arrangements. I also think my computer's upset. Maybe she's hot. I'm gonna unplug you because she's making the noise like she got hot. What do I do? I'm sorry, computer. We got questions to answer. Don't be sad now. Okay, sorry if you hear the fan of my computer. Goshiwons are like, when I tell you small, I know a friend that stayed in a goshiwon. She couldn't even put her arms up. Like she couldn't fully extend her arms because that's how small it was. And I need space. I'm personally that kind of girl that is like, I need to be able to like sit and relax. I need a chair. I need my desk. Again, I do work from home sometimes. So it's like, it is a little different. But if you're really like, I just need my living establishment, I just do this. I wake up and I go. Then by all means, you can have that experience. I would just caution you that make sure that you're not getting like ripped off. There's some goshiwons, like people will say that the better like protocol is to go and just show up and like see if they have space, like buy, like instead of putting all this money down in advance, because when you show up, when you look at the place, you can know, is this worth my money or not? If you put the money down in advance, sometimes they are horrible and they won't like refund you. You don't really know where you're staying. So if you want like dirt cheap and you're really not claustrophobic, right, Amy? I still think I would prefer Airbnb, like find a shared Airbnb, and I think that would be safer and it's still going to be super super cheap. Yeah. I just looked over at the comments and I have not said hello. Yes, there's probably not a notification that I was live because I had to delete it and then go live again because the mic wasn't working. But I'm happy that you're here. You're finally live. I'm here. Justin, how's your day going so far, Megan? It's going. I'm really happy to be with you guys. You guys make my day. But it's going. That's my answer. How are you, Justin? Yes, John. Sheets and beds are very different. Not entirely bad, but definitely different. Reminder, if you're just joining, I am answering questions over in this community tab because I'll post the link again. If you want to post your question over there, I will answer all the questions over on there. I I want to send you pictures from my trip. You're more than welcome to send me pictures on Instagram. I'm still horrible at getting back to people, but please, please do. Oh yeah, Shutterfly is so cool to be able to like put all of the pictures together. Okay, I'm gonna go back to the questions over on this tab. Goshiwons provide free kimchi and rice. They often do. Some shared Airbnbs though, they also offer snacks as well. Okay. I'm going to Korea by the end of September. I'm wondering about right clothes for me to bring. Also, does the store in Korea accept US credit cards? Clothing, if you've heard me say it once, you'll heard me say it again. Layers. It's always layers. Even right now, during the day yesterday, it got up to like 88 degrees, I think, Fahrenheit. I'm still a Fahrenheit girly. 31 degrees Celsius. It got up to 31 degrees yesterday. And then at night, it was like 10 degrees Celsius. And you have to bring jackets, you have to be prepared for layers. And my computer is getting more and more upset, so I'm sorry. I don't know why she's so upset, but she's getting louder and louder. Do you hear her? Why are you so upset? I wish I had a name for my computer. We're just trying to go live. You've never made these noises before. I think she's having a day too, guys. I'm like, can I put it up on something so I can get more? But it's literally never made these noises. And you guys know I've gone live like a lot. So I'm just going to put my microphone farther away from it and hope that maybe helps her out. Okay. Hopefully y'all can still hear me. Dang it. Yes. Layers. It just drops like throughout the day. It just goes up and then it goes down and it goes up and it goes down. And so it's really sad that I can't be like, oh, it'll just be blah, 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 blah. You always, always, always have to wear layers. So layers are going to be your best friend. September is still, it gets pretty cold at night. Yes, Marlena, my computer is overheating, which it's never done ever. And I've gone live a lot with this exact setup. So I'm not sure why it's upset today. So yeah, bring layers. And then as far as they will accept, so I still use like the Capital One Venture card that I talked about that I have linked below. It's a US credit card. And I still use that here in Korea because I get a lot of like travel points and stuff like that. And so for real, like it'll be okay most of the time, but it's the international transaction fees that you have to be worried about. Slash it's not most of the time it's accepted. It's not always accepted. I mean, I use it every day. It hasn't been like it sometimes just randomly doesn't work in restaurants. Like no idea why. It just randomly decides doesn't feel like working today. And so it's good to bring multiple like options of things. So it's good to bring credit cards, but maybe also bring a debit card because that's how you're going to be able to pull money from ATMs and stuff like that. So it's good to bring like a balance of different cards. Hopefully that answered your question. Okay. Community tab. Nathan. Hi, Nathan. Thank you so much for the love. You never have to. Like. How do I click like a million times? Thank you so much for your love. Let me know if you have any questions and I'll answer them. Thank you for your love and support. You have no idea how much that means to me, especially on a day like today, especially with how tight I've been financially. So Thank you so much. It really, really means a lot. Thank you. Okay. Answering the questions on the community tab. Y'all keep adding them, and I love it. Hi, girl from the live. Hello. What are the first things we should do once we get to Korea, and how much money do you think I should have with me for a month visit? I would definitely listen back at the beginning of this live, and I go into like more of a detailed description of just finances and stuff like that. I break it down so you can kind of break it down according to like what I said towards the beginning. And once the live is over, I'll go back in and add like timestamps of the questions that I answered. So go back and listen to that part. Recycling. Do you have a video that trains Americans on how to do recycling and trash so we don't get fined in Korea? I don't know anything like about the recycling. Great question. I made a poll over on Instagram and I asked if anybody would be interested in like a recycling video, and it didn't perform, like it didn't get as many likes as like the other ones. So I've been doing the other videos first, but I do think it is a very important video. And I actually just gave a presentation here in Korea in regards to recycling and like how to do it. And it's one, not as hard as people think. Two, not as scary as people somehow also have come to think. I don't know where the fear of the recycling came from. Like, I get that it's complicated. It's very rare that people get fined. Like, I don't know of a single person that's actually gotten fined. But I know that people can get yelled at and get in trouble. So it's something to know, but I don't want people to like live in fear. So I will make a recycling video. I'm trying to be better. If you guys didn't hear, you have 2 videos coming at you. One Sunday morning EST, the other, I think I might just take it off of private once we're done with this live. So my Love Back to Life podcast, I'll post that right after this. But I will make that recycling video here very soon. And so keep on the lookout for that. But just don't be scared and know that everything, literally in Korea, everything has to have a label. Where's something near me that everything in Korea has to have a label on it that tells you what it is. So do you see this? Piniru. That means that this is pinir, this substance is pinir, so you put it into the bag, the trash thing that says pinir. So everything is labeled, so you can just throw it into the labeled areas accordingly, but I will go into way more detail in that recycling video, and that will be one of the videos coming out here decently soon. Probably this weekend is SIM cards. I could potentially get it up by next week. We'll see. I am working on, you guys have no idea how excited I am. I have been working on something for so long. I hope you like it as much as I am excited about it, / I hope it works. But I am creating like an interactive trip itinerary scavenger hunt game kind of thing. And I'm so excited about it. And it's taken me a really long time. But I'm really excited about it. And so I work on that as I go, but eventually I need to like upload. And so yeah. I'm so excited. Okay, sorry. I kind of like gave it a spoiler. But most people won't know, right? Only the few of you guys, only the best of you guys will know about that's coming here soon. Okay, I'm gonna take another bite of my protein bar. Hold on. I love this mute button. This is fun. Okay. Oh. Uh, all I've ever seen of Korean food is prepackaged stuff and eating out. How expensive is fresh produce? I cook all my own food, mostly organic, non-GMO. So I am nervous about this. There are plenty of places that offer, you know, fresh produce. Um, a lot of like the major grocery stores here, they have huge produce sections. I just will say that a lot of it is expensive, and I'm glad I could make you guys laugh with my protein bar. But, um, but it does lean a bit on the expensive side. You have to think about Korea, South Korea specifically. People be like, why fruit and produce so expensive here? Do you see how much real estate we got as a country? And we are literally basically an island because nothing's coming through North Korea. There's no train that catches, you know, its way through North Korea and stuff. We are literally isolated. We got water and some people that we don't really bond with right for now, above us. So we are literally just a little island. So imagine how expensive it is to live on an island. So a lot of stuff has to get sent. That's why pork is so cheap, is because we got pigs for days. And then distance as well. You're right, Nathan. So we're not like necessarily like super close to many people either. So we have to have a lot of stuff imported. So a lot of the produce is imported. The fruits are mostly imported. Our weather here is so that we can't really like maintain a lot of the fruits and seasons, right? So at the end of the day, a lot of stuff is imported, so everything gets expensive. I won't say that there's a lot of like organic sections. Like I wouldn't say that I go through the store and it's like, oh, here's this and then here's the organic. Like this is your only option. But there is plenty of, you name it. There's a lot of things. But there is a lot of stuff that is prepackaged, but there's also a lot of produce. You just have to go to like not E-Mart convenience store, but like E-Mart store or like Home Plus. If you want to go all the way out to Costco, you could, but that's not really in Seoul. There's like the mom and pop type vibe shops. Like there's supermarkets all throughout Korea, and they have produce sections as well. So there is plenty. You'll find things for sure. Just it is going to be a bit more on the expensive side. That's part of why people tend to eat out and tend to get food delivered to their house, is because at the end of the day, it actually often can be cheaper to purchase food and have it delivered to your house rather than making it yourself. And then there's like less of the hassle. But I have come to the point where I have found my few meals that I like to make, and I know how to make them really cheaply. And so I've been using that to save money. Eggs are super cheap here. So I usually buy a lot of eggs, and then I'll buy like maybe some pork, and then I have my sauces and stuff. And so I'll make like and then I'll also buy like a large quantity of like chili peppers and like green onions, scallions, like just things like that. And then I freeze them. And then I often will make myself like a fried rice or things like that. So you'll be okay. Let's keep going through these questions. So how do I find a safe place to stay as a lone 67-year-old woman wanting easy access to historical stuff? So thankfully, South Korea is a very, very, very safe country. I don't want to say that in a way that it keeps you off of your guard. I do think everyone should always proceed with caution, right? But Korea is one of the safest. It is the safest place that I've ever visited. And so it's nice to know that you're going to be probably okay as long as you're in South Korea. But I was going to say as long as you're in. I'm like, no, it's fine. But again, I'm not saying that as in you should not be smart about things. If you want good access to the historical stuff, And I just made my older video of like where to stay in Korea, and then I made a newer video that talks about Airbnbs and why I think they're better than hotels, my Airbnb guide. Those two videos I really recommend that you check out so that you can figure out. I even talk about in that video, I go through like safety, like where I would give the safety rating and stuff like that. But as far as historical things, you're probably gonna want to be around the Myeongdong area if you want to care about like distance to all the historical places. Like that is going to be the easiest if you want to be around the historical places. But yeah, it's just going to be so much easier if you watch those two videos. And I think in the first original older video, that portion about Myeongdong is outdated because it wasn't hopping and popping like it is now. It is so busy now. But I would say that a lot of the other ratings are the same. And then in the Airbnb video, I talk a little bit about how it's changed. And I have been working. I've been reluctant to put it up on my store because I was like, who would really want this? But I have been working on for a really long time a large, long guide that I like go into detail. Like I type and explain each region and I show it on the map. And I know that video has a lot of information that I just like spewed out at everybody. So I put it into like a formatted PDF, but I don't know why I feel bad. I don't want people to think that I don't want people to think that I'm like greedy, but like literally I hardly make it like in Korea. Like I barely make even every month. And so I feel bad to put things with like price tags, but when I put in so much effort to something, I know I shouldn't feel bad. But so yeah, if you would be interested in that kind of PDF, please let me know because I feel like I don't want people to think I'm just looking to get everyone's money, but I'm really trying to help. And this is how I'm able to stay in Korea and continue to make videos and help. Yeah, I've been thinking about Patreon as well. Yeah. I have Ko-Fi and stuff, which is like a Patreon. I've also been thinking about honestly sharing things as like because I do believe I'm a missionary, and the amount of like incredible stories of like God's provision and like the way I've been like able to speak into people's lives. Like I know I'm supposed to like supernaturally, I know I've been placed in Korea. And I would love to send out like monthly like letters explaining how God is moving in my life and through the people that he's placed in my life. Like I would love to be able to send out letters and to be able to share with you guys like more specifically how you could be praying for me, as I do feel called to be like a missionary here. There are just so many things, like so many avenues that I could always go. And so I kind of just get like really overwhelmed. And then I just kind of like, right. And then I just like, I'm like, let me just upload a video because that's helpful. Right. And so I would love to know. I'll keep my eye on the chat. If you guys have any thoughts or opinions about things that I've just been saying, I would love to hear them because your girl doesn't always know what to do. Nina! Hi, Nina. Holly Tiger, hi. Okay, I'm going to keep going back to this community tab. If you guys are just joining, feel free to leave your questions on this community tab post. I will post the link again. This is where I'm answering questions for this live. First priority is here. So if you type a question here, just copy and paste and put it over here and I'll know it gets answered. Is air pollution bad in June? There's really not a way for me to say air quality will be good or bad. Like it's kind of just it's so dependent on so many things, and it has a lot to do with what's up in China too, because we just get like the leftovers. But I would say consistently Oh, and I mean, it has to do with the weather. Like, is it windy, cloudy, or like, is the wind pushing it towards us, or is it a not windy day, so it's not getting pushed our way? So it's very hard for me to say air quality. It's so, and every year it's changing because before there was less public transportation happening, like there's less transportation happening because of Corona. But then as things get busier and busier, more people be traveling and traveling. So it's like it's also very dependent. You did not have to do that, Katie. I love you and I want you to live comfortably. You're going to make me cry. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Ah! It has been hard. So you guys have no idea how much that means. Huh. Ah! Thank you. Oh, gosh. Oh, guys. Intermission. Ah. I didn't mean to make you cry. I didn't mean to make me cry either. I didn't tell them to do it. It's just happening. It has been a challenging few months. So it really does mean more than I can actually express. So thank you. Okay. Air quality. I don't know. It's oh, guys, thank you. Hype. Oh, JDMBUI. Thank you so much. I love the little guy. That makes me laugh. Thank you. You guys did not have to do that. Thank you so much. Now I'm like, air quality. It does what it's want. It's bipolar. Oh, okay. Whew, thank you guys. Okay. Advice on getting a lot of groceries and having to take the bus to your home hotel. I've always wanted to be like the really sweet old women that have the little carts. My friends make fun of me because every time I see one, I'm like, I want one of those. The air quality is my God. Oh, Kitty, you're killing me. Okay. It's a good question. I honestly, at some points, I'm like, do I just take a suitcase with me to the grocery store? You know, I actually just, that's why I got the coupon delivery service so that the groceries just get delivered to my door. It's a lot easier, honestly. 10 out of 10 would recommend. But I know that you can't do that unless you're like a longer term visa. So making sure, honestly, I would take. Guys, I don't like crying in front of people. You guys are killing me. Oh gosh. Well, what's the point of makeup, right? Park Kyung-hyun, thank you so much. 정말 감사합니다. 파이팅! 정말 감사합니다. Wow. Waterproof mascara. She's not waterproof. I didn't expect to cry, so
I have been through a decent amount, and I'm not gonna, like go into too much detail, but today is a really beautiful day, but it is a hard day for some personal reasons. My life has changed so much in the past year, and today specifically is one of those days where I really am just like in awe of like how different my life was a year ago versus today. But I literally would not change anything about where I'm at right now. The I'm in the best place that I've been in so long. But to get a little thin, you guys, I'm never gonna stop crying. Oh my gosh. Guys. I had to pay an unexpected bill a few days ago, and it wiped a lot out of my bank account. And so I've been really worried. And so, like, I do not say this, you guys know it's very hard for me to accept gifts from people. So I feel horrible even telling you guys. Like, I don't want you to feel like you need. I know people on here cannot give. Please do not feel bad. Know that, like, I am so appreciative of you watching and liking and commenting. Like, every time you watch a video through, every time you let an ad play, like, that helps me. Even if it's just a few cents, like, it all adds up. So do not feel pressure at all to give, but I cannot thank you enough because for a lot of reasons. Yeah, this unexpected bill, where I'm at, like today specifically, is just a challenging day. Part of why I scheduled a live today was I knew I would love this. I knew I would love hanging out with you guys. And I wanted to do something that was like fun and pick me up, you know. So I just want to say thank you so much. I'm trying so hard to bring my acting skills to like stop the tears, but I don't want people to feel like they need to give. But I just thank you like so much. Okay. Back to trying to answer questions. Back to trying to answer questions. Oh, bring a backpack. That's what I was trying to say. I used to bring backpacks to the grocery store, and then I bring my reusable bags, and then I put them in my backpack, and then I carry the heavier things on my back because it's just a bit easier than holding them on my arms. Laughing kind of helps. It does. Kitty, my grandmother passed away almost 1.5 years ago, and she gave money to all her grandchildren and got money from selling her house. I know God wants me to use the money to bless others. Ah, I'm so sorry that your grandma passed away. I have one grandfather that's still alive, but the way that my other grandmothers and my grandpa passed away was really hard. And so, man, grief is so, it's messy. But it's also like, sorry, we're getting like really deep all of a sudden, and then I'll go back to the Korean questions. But it's beautiful how the Lord brings people into our lives at the right timing, and how love pours. It really is cups, and we're pouring them out into each other's glasses. And how, for example, a funeral, which can be so sad, can also be so beautiful because people, like family, come together and maybe they haven't seen each other right in so long, and to be able to laugh and cry and make memories together. Like, grief is messy, but the way that it brings people together,
going through hard things. Like you guys, if you've seen my like the honest truth video and how hard last year was for me, but the amount of people that loved me so deeply as a result of me being just like vulnerable and honest on the internet with strangers, people loved me so well. And so I just think, I don't know, it's on my heart to say like, don't, you're not a bother. If you need someone to talk to, there's somebody that wants to be there for you. And so, if strangers can love me well, imagine somebody in your family, right? That maybe you don't usually open up to about, but imagine how much more that they would be able to love you as someone that knows you, maybe more. And then there's the other option of like, or the other category of like, maybe you really don't feel like you have somebody. I genuinely mean it when I say you are so deeply loved by the Lord. And I don't know what your beliefs are, and maybe you think I'm crazy for saying that, but the only way I have gotten through the hard things that I've gone through is because God has held my hand today. He is holding my hand. I'm going to start crying. He is holding my hand today so much because he knows today is a hard day for me. And the amount of love and wisdom that people have shared with me and the amount of people that have prayed for me, and I've felt those prayers, and to see you guys giving. Obviously, I don't sit down and go live and go, how much money, right? Like, I don't think that at all. I'm here to help. I am here to help. That is like what I want to do. I just want to help people. But to then see God be like, I've got you, Megan. I have you here in Korea for a reason. And your guys' help is literally why I'm able to stay. So thank you. You are loved. You are so loved. Know that me being open about my faith does not necessarily get people to like me more, right? It doesn't get people to, maybe sometimes maybe, but a lot of times people, like I watch the people who are watching, I watch people leave, right? When I go live and I talk about my faith, like I am right now. And it's just like, I don't say this. I wouldn't say something to get people to click off if I didn't mean it so deeply. If I didn't so fully believe that the only reason I am sitting in front of you on this live stream is because God has redeemed and saved me, and he has loved me so well, and he's made his presence so clearly known to me that it brought me to Korea, that it's kept me here in Korea. It's literally why I'm still here, is because God has told me this is where you're supposed to be. This is where you like belong. Don't cry, don't cry, don't cry, don't cry. Oh, I will answer your question. Give me 1 second. I know that God so deeply loves you. And I know he has me here to tell you that. And so call out to him, ask him to make himself known to you. He would love to. He would love to more than anything. If you don't believe me, ask him. With 1% curiosity, ask him to make himself known to you. You will be surprised. Because that's my story. That's how I came to know him. I just asked him. Okay. I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna get back. I just spit. I'm gonna get back to answering your questions. Okay. We have T-Mobile. We have T-Mobile One and AT&T. Why would we need SIM cards? Really good question. And thank you so much for giving as well. That really means so much to me. If you have I am uploading later today, or Sunday morning, Eastern Standard Time. I have a whole video on SIM cards, and I talk about all of that. But this is a good question I didn't think to answer, of like, why would I need a SIM card? So trying to gain composure. When you come abroad, you can't just use your phone. You can't just like, you sometimes you can. Sometimes phone companies, it will just connect you automatically to whatever bars, whatever towers are nearby. The problem about that is that there is international upcharges. And so the fact that you're not in the state the fact that you're not in the home country that you're supposed to be in, sometimes your phone won't work. Sometimes your phone will work, but when you come back home, you will have like a $30 per day upcharge because you didn't tell them you were leaving and that you were going abroad. So it's very important to be careful that you're not going to get charged all these super high crazy fees. But then there's also the fact that maybe your phone won't work. Maybe it will be very, yeah, Nathan said because it's limited. If you have the international pass, maybe no, but if not, it could be really slow and expensive. So that's a really good way to say, be very, very careful. You could be getting all these upcharges, but yes, the SIM card video, I'm going into all the options: physical, eSIM, pocket Wi-Fi, where I recommend that you get them all. And I go into more detail. I share my experience about how I got a really cheap phone plan as well for someone who is like a long-term. So you definitely would want to have it for the sake of don't overspend when you don't need to overspend, / you want to make sure your phone is working. And you don't necessarily need a SIM card. I talk about how you could get a Wi-Fi, pocket Wi-Fi instead as another option. So that video will be uploaded at, I believe, I haven't picked the time. I think I usually upload around 10 a.m., 10 or 9 a.m. in Eastern Standard Time. So I hope that is, I hope that video is of help, and I hope that I just answered that question decently well. How old are you, Katie? I'm going to answer all your questions, girl, because I love you. How old are you, and how long have you been living in Korea? I was born in 1993, December, so I'm 30. I've been living in Korea since March of 2021. I've gone back and forth a lot, but I was living in China. I was a missionary, and then that's where I first found out about Korea. Had to go back to the States for a bit, and kind of just felt drawn to come see Korea for myself. And LOL, I stayed. A lot of people don't think I'm 30. They say I don't look 30. But then when they talk to me and I share about like my life experiences and all that I've gone through, and they're like, wow, you know so much, or whatever. Like, they're like, you have so much like knowledge. And I'm like, yeah, it's because I'm not 23 like you think I am. I don't know how old you think I am. I'm not. People never think I'm 30. So yeah, I'm 33 and I look like a teenager, so I get it. Yep, upper 20s, not 30. Impossible. Maybe if like, do you see my wrinkles? Yeah, so 30. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh, you guys. Keep on being your beautiful self. Thank you, Leah. I am trying so hard to not cry. Answering questions. I'm going to answer questions. Okay. Solo dinner for Korean barbecue in a restaurant. You can. Happy thoughts. So Solo, there's actually Solo Korean barbecues. I've been wanting to go, and trying not to think about it. I've been wanting to go. People who are gonna watch back this live and see me just like periodically crying throughout it because they're gonna like skip through. Laughing helps, Nathan. There are Solo Korean barbecues. If you type them into if you go into Google and you type in Solo Korean barbecues, there's a few that pop up, and so it's like a you can go by yourself, and they have like your own little section, and you can order the meats. I have not been able to go myself. I've been meaning to want to be able to go, so I sadly can't offer a specific recommendation, but Google it, and some will pop up. I believe there was another YouTuber. I don't remember his name. I think I just saw his video and I stumbled through it, and he went to eat at one, but I don't even remember what his name is to recommend to you. But if you type in like solo Korean barbecue, maybe it'll pop up. Marlena, I love you so much. Okay. For those who are just joining us, I am copying and pasting. There's a community tab, and I'm answering the questions in this tab first. So if you put your question here, once I make it through all of these, then I'll come back to the chat. What are the first things that we should do when we get to Korea? Did I say? I think I answered that one. First thing. Oh, I don't think I actually talked about what are the first things we should do. So when you get off the airplane, make sure that you get a T-Money card or some sort of transportation type card. There's a NAMI card that I want to work with this company. I keep trying to message them. But yeah, I really want to work and we do like a collaboration with them because their card is really cool too. But make sure you get your transportation card. That's one of the most important things to do. And make sure you get yourself to your, make sure you watch my like transportation playlist so you understand transportation so you're not lost. If you purchase my airport guide, I'm going to tell you that's going to tell you all the things you need to pack. It's so helpful and it's only a few bucks. I saw that you said you need to raise your prices. I really just trust in the sovereignty of the Lord that he will continue to provide. I don't need to live comfortably. I just need to live here to be able to help. And so I want to keep things cheap as I can, because some people live in other countries than the States, and a few bucks is like the majority of their, like a few bucks in USD is like a huge majority for them. And so, I mean, yes, they are coming to Korea. Yeah. So it's like, I just want to try to keep things as reasonably priced as possible. And I just always pray that the Lord will continue to provide. And you guys have no idea how much you helped me today. Sadly, you know, YouTube does take a chunk of it, but I am immensely thankful and grateful so much for your guys' giving. So I try, that's why I keep my prices so low, is I really just want to be able to help people. I care more about helping. So yeah, so make sure you get your T-Money card. If you purchase my airport guide, it will also be super helpful because there's a lot of, it's packed with details of what to pack, what to do once you get off the plane and stuff like that. And then I think it's just it's so good to go to a convenience store and just finally see it in person, get some good snacks. It might not be the healthiest of all meals, but I think that's like the best to finally be able to get all of the fun little, they have so much. Convenience stores here are so much fun. I hate airports and traveling with a passion. I love traveling. Getting there is a little, you know, challenging. But I will say I really do love, I like flying, probably because I have to put my phone on airplane mode and I can just be like cut off from the world, right? Hi, Megan. I'll be visiting in May, June with my 3 high school college daughters. So I'm assuming they're in high school, college. We're staying in Hongdae. Is dress code pretty casual and does it differ from day to night? Good question. So Korea as a whole, I would say you see it all. Like, if you want to show that you're a foreigner, dress like, you know, okay, this is my American mindset, right? So I can immediately, just walking down the street, I can see who's the tourist and I can see who maybe like lives here. Or at least like I can see a giveaway. A giveaway is when you're dressed in like the athleisure wear, because that's just what foreigners they love to wear that because they're hiking and they're doing all the walking and they're doing all the seeing. I would say that in Korea, people tend to dress a little bit nicer. Um, in Hongdae, it is a very college friendly area, and so people are quite young in that area. Um, but they're very still trendy with what they wear. And then if you go to Gangnam, it's getting like nicer and nicer and nicer and nicer. And so very nice, outfits. And so leggings, people don't wear them here. I wear black leggings and sweatshirts and I felt like I stood out. Yep. People don't really wear leggings unless they're going to exercise. And so, but you're a foreigner and you're a tourist. And so it's totally fine if you wear that kind of stuff because you're just being true to yourself. So you don't need to feel like you need to dress. Don't feel like you need to dress a certain way, but understand that it is a little bit of a giveaway when you don't dress quite as well, like when you don't dress as nicely. But don't feel like pressured. The only thing that I would say is something I don't recommend is this area. I definitely had to like change my style. I used to like a lot of like shoulder showing kind of things, and I never was really into like showing a lot of cleavage, but this area, like being exposed, it's becoming more normal. Like I'm seeing Koreans start to show their shoulders, but cleavage especially you should cover. I have not watched a lot of dramas, but one drama I have watched, which I know a lot of y'all, if y'all like dramas, you've probably watched, is Hometown Cha-Cha-Cha. And she goes on like a run and she moved to this town that's like outside of Seoul, and she goes on a run and she's in like a tiny little shirt and like leggings. She's literally exercising, and all like the older people are like, how could she be wearing that? Like, she's so scandalous, right? I think that's a good example to explain like how it is received when you're like super cleavage showing. People are like, how could she wear that? Like, how could she feel comfortable? But it's not like they won't let you in. Like, it's not like they won't still let you pay, but it's kind of just like so if you want to be respectful / like stick in, try to just be more modest in like this area of trying to just be respectful and like cover up. I wore something that my shoulders were showing the other day for the first time, and I kind of felt naked, so I put on a sweater. But that is because I've lived here for so that's just my mindset has changed. But just know that it's respectful to try to cover. As far as shorts go, I don't know what it is about we cover here, but like their butt cheeks be hanging out. Like they have the shortest of all shorts. I'm like, I can literally see your butt. And so, sorry if there's little ears. Cover your peach. I don't know why they don't care about that, but not the lean. But it really is like they don't. I don't know why they don't care. So I guess it doesn't really matter on the bottom half, but the shortest of all shorts, but not everybody. And again, that's going to be from like younger people. Like that's going to be the younger generation that does that. But yeah, I just think that be respectful. It would be better for you to wear a t-shirt or at least get like maybe something that's a little bit thicker. But a lot of people will just wear the spaghetti straps and they'll just like as foreigners and they'll just say, it's fine. I'm hot. I don't care. Right. So it truly is up to you. But I just think that to be the most respectful, try to dress a little bit. I'm going on a soapbox. I am going on a rabbit trail. Try to just dress as modestly as you can. It's going to be really hot in May and June. And so be careful, drink a lot of water, buy your little personal fan. Layers are still so important because you want to make sure that you are not freezing your butt off, because when you get into the subway and when you get into the cafe, everything is freezing. They blast the AC because it's so hot outside. So I still don't even think like spaghetti straps, you'll be cold everywhere you go. So it's good to bring layers, 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 layers. Okay. Getting back to your question on this community tab. What is your favorite Japanese restaurant? Ooh, in Seoul. Are we talking about like Japanese ramen? Because that's my go-to. And it's Hana Ramyeon, and it's in Hongdae. I really like Hana Ramyeon. I've had other Japanese. I've been to a lot of I really like Japanese food, but that's the first one that comes to mind. Nathan, that's such a good comment. It is actually the opposite in the US, right? Like we'll show up here, but like, well, these days I feel like they just in the States, their clothing is like skin. It's so tight. But yeah, it is opposite. Like they really they don't mind showing all this, but down there. What would you say for a single 33-year-old who is not married and doesn't have kids who wants to go to college for a bachelor's degree in South Korea? That's awesome, Katie. It's possible. If you really do want to go, the sooner the better, because life, right? You never know who you might end up like meeting. And if you get married and then you settle down wherever you're from, then you're always like, man, I wish I would have gone, right? So I think to do it, to check it off your list, to do that, to just be like, yes, let's go for it. As far as like school, obviously it's going to depend on what you want to study, but understand that the application process is quite heavy and extensive. And so the sooner that you can start all of that, the better. The amount of documents that need to be notarized and all these things, like it's a very complicated process. So the sooner that you can get started on all of that, the better. But I really say go for it. And it is possible, but definitely learning Korean, there's a lot more scholarship opportunities if you know Korean. So if you do need to like maybe save up a little bit or delay that, studying Korean in the meantime would be great. And there's a lot of scholarships that are offered for people who want to study here and also are willing to learn Korean while they're here. My hair just fell off. I just saw that in the camera. But it is a lot different going to school here. It's much more competitive. The style of schooling is just much different. But I know a lot of people that love studying here, so it's worth it. Go while you can. Okay, I'm gonna look at some of these last questions. I sadly do have to get going soon, so if you haven't posted your question on the community tab, I'm not sure if I'll be able to get to it. I have one last one on here. Okay. In your experience, because I could see cost of living online, if I want to buy one meal and one snack per day, what is your cost? So if you're only buying one meal and one snack per day, snack as in convenience store snack? Let's see. I would say usually maybe 12,000 Korean won. A snack. I would probably say around $13 is like a meal and a snack USD, because you asked me to say it in USD. So I'd probably say around $13 is a meal and a snack. Average. It is 4:18 in the morning. Did you go to sleep? Did you get up? congratulations. I think you win best time. I think you win best time. I hope that something I've said here is of use and helpful to you. Oh gosh, wow, much love. Thank you so much for being here and hanging out with us. Couldn't sleep. I'm so sorry. I hope that you can get some good rest after this. I'm also happy to be a little bit of entertainment, I guess, to you guys. Okay, I'm going to close the community tab. I answered all the questions. And I'm going to hang out with you guys in the chat for a few more minutes, and then I have to head on out because I have a prayer call with my friend before church today. Church is in the afternoon here. A lot of English-speaking churches are in the afternoon here, so it's funny how it kind of flips. Used to going in the morning in the States, but now it's like mornings are for fun, and now, yeah. So I'm going to look through the chat really fast to see if there were any questions that I missed that I could answer really quickly. Yes, I will talk about eSIMs in that video as well. Oh, I'm glad you could finally catch up on sleep. Okay. My stomach's starting. I'm going to take a bite of my protein bar. You can't hear it. This is not an ASMR channel. So I'm muting you guys so you don't have to listen to all that. Okay. Necklace you're wearing. Thank you. It's my friend's company, Saved by Salt, Adrienne Hill. She's incredible. Her jewelry is so good. I've had it for so long. Cannot recommend enough. Do you have any recommendations for a good church in Busan? Goodness gracious. My friend goes to a church in Busan, but I think she might be having a baby soon. Or had a baby. She should have had her baby. So I cannot ask her probably in this time. But that is a really good question that I should look more into and have that on my little roster. If you guys ever want to know a church in Seoul, if you ask me on Instagram, I now have this whole spreadsheet basically not spreadsheet, but this really long thing of like all the church recommendations. And so I just copy and paste and I send that to y'all. So if you're interested, you can message me and I can send that to you. But for Busan, I do not know of one. Oh, oh, we're just gonna take a pause. I am I think I'm shocked. I think I'm in awe. I really don't know what to say. Does not compute. Does not compute. Park Kyung-hyun, I wish that I could hug you. I don't know how you feel about American style hugs, but I'm trying so hard not to cry. I've already cried so much. This total of what you guys gave is like how much the bill was that I had to pay unexpectedly. And won't God do it? Oh my gosh. Thank you so much. As soon as I hit end, I am probably just going to bawl my eyes out. I'm sorry, guys. I'm To answer what you said, grasshopper. I understand why you say that. Because it's really hard to look around at the world. It's really hard to go through such immense pain. It's really hard when the loneliness feels so heavy. It's really hard. When it feels like all that life is just bad. I didn't always believe in God. And then once I started thinking I believed in God, harder things happened to me. Like I accumulated a lot of pain, to say the least, after I started saying that I believed in God. But in my deepest sorrows, in my places of deepest pain, I cried out to God and said, if you're real, show up. Show me that you're real. And when I say that things happen that you cannot tell me are a coincidence, you just can't. To list off a few, I used to pray, only say this in prayer. I used to only pray, God, I hope one day I find someone who thinks that I am beautiful and that I'm loved and that I'm worth it. I would only say that in my prayer to God. And I had been raped. I'd been taken advantage of. I had given up on hope in regards to relationships. And I had a taxi driver. He accidentally took a wrong turn. We ended up having this really long conversation because it was way back when they used to do the Uber thing where you could have a second person in your car with you and you could share the ride. And we had this unknown to me, this huge, long ride of a taxi. And eventually I felt led to say, hey, you know, I'm a Christian and I feel like led to share something with you. And then the driver goes, oh my gosh, I could tell I'm a Christian too. And I felt the Lord put something on my heart. And I just want to tell you that God hears you. And one day you will find somebody that thinks that you are beautiful and that you're loved and you're worth it, and to not give up. I have so many stories like this. Only God knows something. Only God knew. There was a time that I was going through a really hard decision, and I prayed and I was fasting and I was just seeking God, and I was like, please, Lord, Lord, I need help in this. You know, I need help in understanding. And I'm born on 12/12. My birthday's 12/12. And there was a portion of scripture that he led someone to pray over me. And in that portion of scripture, there's actually like 12/12 is like referenced in that portion of scripture. And I was like, well, that's interesting, right? Like, I didn't even think all that much of it, right? And then like later on, I was praying with that same person later on, and we were talking about how crazy it was that the numbers 12/12 were in that portion of scripture. And we're talking about it, and there were all these like little moments of seeing like God's like sweet hand over the conversation. And then in that moment, I look at the clock and it's 12/12, and I'm like, what funny timing, right? And then my friend and I are like, we need to pray, and we start praying. And this person starts praying over me, and they're like, oh, where's that portion of scripture? He starts saying like, I pray that you strengthen her arms and her weak knees and her strength. And he's like, oh, what is this verse that you're putting on my heart, God? And he looks it up, and it's literally, I think it was Hebrews 12:12, and it was like 12:12 again. And the amount of times that God has just given me pictures or visions and things come true. If you check out my Loved Back to Life podcast, I'm going to be posting a second video here today of another testimony of just like another portion of my life, this season of my life where I literally had nowhere, I had no job, all of my plans fell through, I had no idea what to do. And just the way that God, he gave me a picture of this brick building and a season of women, and I ended up in literally an apartment that ended up being a brick build. It's like, you have to go listen to the podcast. I'm going to upload it, and I'm going to do it on my phone right now, or on this computer right now. I know that why you're saying there could never be a God, I know it's coming from a place of pain. I know it's coming from a place where it seems like God did not show up for you when you needed him the most. Or something happened that you cannot comprehend. You cannot comprehend how there could be a God and that there could be something like this that can happen. And let me just encourage you that just because the bad thing happened, don't let that taint the possibility that God could be there, because all things that are good come from the Lord, and all things that are bad are from the enemy. And what sucks is people go, well, if there's a good God, then why do bad things happen? We live in a fallen and broken world, and God only had two options. He really had the option that he could have made everything perfect. He could have made us all robots that just, yes, I believe in Jesus. Thank you, God. And we have no free will. We have no choice. We just live. Instead, he decided to say, I'm going to let people freely choose whatever they would like to do. And the results will break my heart, God's heart. His heart is broken. The results will break his heart. However, if I give people the free will to choose what they want, People can freely choose to come into relationship with me. People can freely choose to love one another. There will be bad, but he is the author of good. He's the author of love. He's the author of truth. And so don't let the enemy win. Don't let Satan win in this. Don't point the finger and be like, God, how could you be real if there's bad? Instead, point the finger at the enemy, saying, he is very real. He is active. It says in the Bible that Satan comes to kill, steal, and destroy, and he does a very good job at that. And so when you're pointing the finger at God, understand that it's you're pointing it at the wrong person. God will make all things good. He will make all things right. He will make all things right. And his heart breaks over the brokenness in this world. His heart breaks. But he didn't just look at the world and say, man, this is horrible. He said, man, this is so bad, but I'm going to come and save my people. And so he put himself in Jesus. He brings himself and he comes into our reality. He comes into our life, into our world as a savior. And he came to save us. He did not come to just leave us. He also came to save and to bring good. It's not just that he gets sad about it. He is sad, but he also comes to bring redemption, and he comes to bring healing, and he comes to make all things right. At the end of the day, the life that we live, if we're lucky, we get maybe 100 years. And this is a hard purifying time. It's a hard, full of trials and pains time. But at the end of those some 100 years, there is an eternity left. There is a forever sign on the other side of it. And God comes to save us so that we get to spend the entire eternity with him. This side of life, this side in this human fleshly casing is but a breath. It is literally like a what is the verse? It's like a mist that just like evaporates. It's so short. It's literally like this much of the cord. But we have all of this left to spend with God. We have all of this left to spend in perfect, in the perfect world, the world that you desire to see, the world that you desire to live in, where all things are made right, where there is no sickness, where there is no pain and suffering. That is real and exists. And God wants us to be there. God wants us to come and be with him. Most importantly, not just a get out of jail free card. We get to go live in paradise. It is, we love Jesus. We have come to know him and come to have a relationship with him and come to have a personal conviction of knowing that we are a wretched sinner saved by grace, by God's love, that what Jesus has done is by Jesus' blood, I am covered and I'm forgiven of all of the sins that I've ever committed. And then I get to live in harmony and unity with God. That is eternity. He wants us to be there, but he won't force anybody to come and be in that place. I know that this is not probably what most of us anticipated for this live stream to take a turn, but I just really want to share the gospel and I want to pray. And I know, Grasshopper, I hope you keep watching, but I want to give you the greatest love story. And I really hope that you have the time to listen. This world, we were created. If you look around, if you look at this world, we were created for relationship. Why does everybody have a desire to be loved? Why does everybody have a desire to be in a relationship? Why does everybody have a desire to be in companionship, in community? We are, even the most introverted of introverted people, we still need people. That's because we were created with a desire for relationship. Ultimately, a relationship with God, our creator. That is embedded into us. God himself being triune, even if you don't believe in him, hear me out. God is the Trinity, Father, Son, Holy Spirit. He in himself is community. We are created for relationship. We are made in the image of God. So we are created to be in relationship with other people. And so in being and created in relationship, and God made everything. God made all of this world. Again, my belief, just hear me out. He created all things. And we are created for relationship. We're created for relationship with him. And when we were originally created in the beginning of time, way back, Adam and Eve created, everything was perfect. There was no sickness. There was no illness. There was no right. There was only right and good. There was no wrong that had bled into the world. And so we were created for relationship. We're created by God. We are created to have relationship with God. And we were created originally to be in harmony with God. What's sad is that original perfect bond ended up breaking because the one thing that God said, he created perfection, every fruit, everything possible. And he put two humans and gives them free will, right? Because he doesn't want to make them robots. He wants to have relationship with them. He puts them in the garden and he says, everything is yours. He gives abundantly, but don't eat of this one fruit, of the tree of knowledge of good and evil. Don't do that. I'm protecting you. Don't do that. But what's sad is Satan, again, the one that comes in here to always try to add lie sandwiches into our lives, where he puts a little bit of truth, but the meat, the patty, is a lie. He puts truth around these lies to make you start to think God is withholding something from you, to make you start to believe that God is not totally good. If God was really good, why would he even put that tree in the garden, right? It's God's creation. He can do whatever he wants. But instead, Satan goes, why would he even put that there, right? Why would he even tempt you? And it's coming out of a relationship of saying, do you trust me? Do you trust me? And at the end of the day, Eve believed the lies of the enemy. Instead of believing God, she ate from the tree. And what's sad is that original perfect bond ended up breaking. And as it broke, we are all now born in that broken state where sin has corrupted us from the beginnings of when we are born. There is so much about the world where we see evil is a part of us. We don't teach a child to go and do the opposite thing of what mommy told. Mommy says, don't go touch that, don't do that. And suddenly the kid's like, must touch. We don't teach them that kind of stuff. We don't teach people to be evil. We don't teach people how to murder, but we see selfishness. We see the depths of sin. It's corroded everything. That's why there's evil in this world, is because now we're all born in a broken state, not one with God, not one with perfection, but we're born in this broken state. And so we are all sinful people. And some people would say, am I really a sinner? God describes the sin as anything that goes against him. And so in the Bible, it says, if you think a bad thought about somebody, if you say a mean thing about somebody, even in your mind, you just think a bad thought, that is sinning in itself. And so we are all sinful people. And it says in the Bible, and this is God's world, God says the wages of sin is death. And wage is basically like a payment. The payment of you being mean to someone, thinking mean thoughts. Whether you've stolen, you've committed murder, or you've said something mean, all of it is sin, and the payment is death. And so that basically means the payment is my life. I should be then dying for my sins, because I'm a wretched person. This is the when you go to the store and you try to buy something, you got to swipe the card, you got to pay for it. When I have done the bad thing, the payment for that is death, my life. And so at the end of the day, we are all sinful people. The wages of sin is death. God doesn't go, y'all messed up, so y'all got to pay for it. Instead, he says, I hate that this is the state of where we're at. I hate that sin is so corrupted. I hate to see the evilness in the world, but I will not leave my people in that state. I will come and I will fix this. So what he does, he puts himself into man. Jesus is born. Jesus lives a perfect life. He's fully God and fully man. He's the only person that's ever come into this world, and he's lived a fully perfect life. And in him acting perfectly, never making a mistake, never sinning, in all of that, he is able to come and love and point us to Christ and say, oh, and by the way, coolest part, this book, this is from thousands of years, right? Thousands of years, tens and tens of different writers through literally over generations. All of the Old Testament points to someone named Jesus coming, God putting himself into man. It even says how he's going to be born, when he's going to be born, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years before it actually happens. And then we fast forward, and then that person comes. His name is Jesus. And he comes, he lives the perfect life, and he ends up dying the perfect death because he never committed any wrongs, but he literally was able to say, my purpose is to come and die for my people. And so all of these prophecies saying that someone named Jesus would come. Jesus comes, and people hate him. Like, so many people hate him because they're pulling, like, so many people are following Jesus, and Pharisees and all of these people who are like, wait, you're taking people away from our religion. Why are you doing that? We need to stop him because he's taking people away from our religion. So he ends up dying, never doing anything wrong, but he ends up dying because he knew that this is why he came into this world. Jesus knew this was my purpose. My calling was to come and to die for these people, because in my dying the perfect death, when he was killed on the cross, even though he had done no wrong, he truly is like the ultimate transaction. The wages of sin is death. That is like the card swipes, transaction, payment is processed. The way that we know that this is true, the way that we know that Jesus actually died and paid for our sins, is because he came back. He didn't just die. Buddha, Allah, all these other gods, they died, they stayed dead. Jesus, he rose from the dead. He came back. He said the transaction's been paid for. He showed himself to hundreds of people, which is like most of the New Testament, people talking about what Jesus did, how they saw him come back, how they saw him come back to life. And God said, because of what I've come and done for you, because now there's no payment that you have to pay, because I have paid the transaction, all you have to do is believe in me. Believe in me. Believe in me, believe in Jesus, believe in the Lord, give your life to the Lord. And he says your payments are paid for, and then you and I can live back in that original creation being, like in the original creation state, where we are in harmony, where we're in relationship, where we get to do life together. And all you have to do in order to come into relationship with God is just believe, Lord, believe I am wretched. I know I'm not a perfect person. I know I've messed up. But I know that you are good. I know that you are sorry. Or maybe you don't even know. I have heard you are good. I've heard you're good, God. I've heard you're maybe real. I don't even know if I believe it. But at the end of the day, show up. Make yourself known to me, God. Because if all of this is real, if there is a payment, if there is a wage that is my life, if I am supposed to pay it, if I don't, I go and I live not just in hell. People like, hell is a very real thing, but it's not just the fact that it's hell. It's the fact that you're not living in relationship with God. That's the hardest part of it. You don't get to be in a relationship with your loving heavenly Father for the rest of eternity. You're in separation. You're in a world a lot like this one, full of pain and sorrow and sadness. Lord, if that is real, if there's a way that I can spend eternity with you in perfect harmony, if there's a way that I can be and live on this side of life in relationship, you just have to pray, accept him into your life, and start living life with God. Not just pray a prayer, but you live life, a changed life with God. It's the most beautiful love story, because God, I'm an only child, and I've always feared being alone. I've always feared having to take on trials of life by myself. And coming to know God and the way that he shows up and he sprinkles his presence in my life. He is the most comforting and most loving person Grasshopper, I don't know if you're still here, but I don't know if you've ever prayed for somebody, but I specifically want to pray for you, if you don't mind. And just humor me, because it's coming from love. It's coming from a deep love that I know you're like, how could you love me? You don't even know who I am. I truly believe that you are loved and that you're here and that you were supposed to hear everything I just said, because God is pursuing you. So if you don't mind, I'd love to pray for you and pray over anybody else who is listening to this. If you don't mind praying with me. Lord, what an unexpected day for me, but planned by you. I did not come onto this live stream expecting that the amount of money that people would give would cover that bill that I randomly had to pay. But you did that because you told me that you will provide and you will continue to care for me. Lord, I did not anticipate to share the gospel. I did not anticipate to share about your love in this extent, to this degree of depth. But you wanted me to, because you are pursuing whoever is listening to my voice right now. You are seeking that person. You're seeking Grasshopper. You're trying to get his attention. You're trying to say, my precious son, daughter, I am so real. I am realer than any delicious meal that you've ever eaten. I am more real than any relationship that you've ever had on this side of eternity. And I love you. I have counted every tear that you've ever cried. I've seen all the hopelessness. I've seen all of the dark nights. I've seen your pain. I want to be there with you. I want to heal it with you. I want to hold your hand through it all. I want to be by your side through it all. Won't you trust me to know that I'm real? Seek me. Ask me to show up. I want to show myself to you. Lord, I pray over all of the people listening to the sound of my voice, whether or not it's in real time on live or it's a playback. You have loved me so much. You have loved me immensely, deeply. And you've shown up in my life in ways that I cannot say it's just a coincidence. It has to be a godly occurrence. That's the only answer to me. But I get that that sounds like gibberish. I get that that can sound crazy to somebody that doesn't know you. I just pray, Lord, I pray over my sisters and my brothers and my friends. May we all trust you. May we all believe bigger. May we all just increase our minds, increase our capacity to be able to pray big prayers, to be able to believe big things, whether it be a healing over our body, whether it be a financial provision, or maybe it's just believing that you could be real, maybe. Meet us in our hour of need. Meet us in this moment, Lord. Move in our lives in a supernatural way that only you could do, and help our unbelief in the process. You are a good Father who wants to love us. You want to love us. And sometimes we're too busy talking, we're too busy with life that we don't even give you 5 seconds in our day. Right now, in this moment, I'm just going to be quiet, Lord. I'm just going to be quiet and give you the microphone to speak to all of us. Lord, speak, Lord. Speak to all of us, Jesus. We all live in different sides of the world, and yet you are so close to each of us. You sit right beside us. Lord, having a relationship with you has saved me. Not only from the debt, the wage that my sin technically has to pay, but I didn't want to be alive anymore, truly. I would never go as far to say that I was going to take action in removing myself from this world, but you know the depths of my pain and of my sorrow. But because of your love, because you showed up at moments when I needed it most, I am able to sit before these women and gentlemen and pray over them. I'm able to show them, I'm able to walk as a living testimony of your goodness, God. And I pray that whoever is listening, whoever is watching, the reason I have my YouTube channel is, yes, to help people who are coming to Korea, 1000%. But it's bigger than that. You gave me this platform so that I could tell people about you. You told me that's why you gave it to me. So I'm doing that. I'm just being a faithful, obedient servant right now, Lord. And I want more than anything for people to come into a relationship with you, God, for the sake of their own souls, but also because when you love something so much, when you're so obsessed with something, how could you not talk about it? I already posted my next podcast where I go more into my story, Lord. I just pray it be a blessing to those who listen to it. It talks about some heavy things, God, but you are a good Father and you wrote my story, and I can't wait to continue to share it with the world. I pray specifically for Grasshopper. I don't know what his name is. But you know his name. Ted. Ted comes to mind. Meet him so sweetly right now. Show up. Holy Spirit, you are welcome in our lives. Fall afresh. Speak. We are listening. Open our minds, our hearts, our souls to be able to receive what it is that you would like to say. We love you, God. Help us love you more. I don't know who needs to hear this, but I really feel like I'm supposed to read Psalm 23, which is a very popular psalm. And it's such a sweet psalm. So wherever you're at, I hope that you can take a moment to just close your eyes as I read this psalm over you. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. He restores my soul. He leads me in paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. For you, God, are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil, my cup overflows. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. I really hope that you're able to dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Coming into a personal relationship with the Lord. He desires to lead you to green pastures where the sheep are able to rest and be able to eat and drink and be satisfied. If you have Jesus, you've been given your full portion. You have your full inheritance. You have a seat reserved in heaven for you, and your heavenly Father cannot wait to be with you. And he is anxiously anticipating. If you know Jesus, he cannot wait for you to come home. But if you're here, if there's air in your lungs, if there's a heartbeat in your heart, there is a work that he still wants to do in and through you. And if you don't know Jesus yet, if your name is not reserved in heaven yet because you don't know him yet, I cannot tell you enough how much coming to know him, coming to have a relationship with him, it will change your life in the best ways possible. It does not mean easy. It does not mean following Jesus means I get to walk through a field of roses and daisies and sunflowers and everything is fine. Life is hard. It is still just as hard. But when you do life with Jesus, you have a hope, you have an anchor, you have an assurance of not only your salvation, but to know that God is for you, he's not against you. And so that means he is working all things out for your good. He loves you so much, whether or not you've ever given him 2 seconds of the time of day. He loves you, and he is just waiting for you to acknowledge him and give him a second so that he can speak and be in relationship with you. This book is incredible. If you don't think it's real, if you think it's full of fantasies, I challenge you to watch a movie called Case for Christ. It's also a book, but maybe you don't have enough time to read it. I have A Case for Faith next to me, but not A Case for Christ. Watch the movie A Case for Christ. And it talks about a journalist who went to prove that Jesus never was a true story, that Jesus is not real. I want to leave you with that. Go watch Case for Christ. I love you guys so much. I hope that this time blessed you. And if you need any prayers, please feel free to reach out to me on Instagram. I love being able to pray over people. But I love you guys. I love you guys so much. I wish I could hug you. Sleep well. I wasn't even planning on watching the live. I was just going to watch Netflix, and then I saw my second monitor that you were live, and God put me here. I felt that. He wanted you here. He loves you that much, Marina. He would go to that length for you. You as well. A-P-O, Apo Pangpo. He wanted you here too. Love you guys so much. I'll see you next time. Bye. I'll leave my podcast below as well so you can go watch the next episode. But A Case for Christ, it's a really good movie.